A native of Pineville who has never forgotten or forsaken her roots, our next speaker left home at 17 as a finalist in the National Teen Magazine Model Search. After roles in soap operas, she became an American sweetheart as Corky Sherwood on Murphy Brown, and then as the co-star of Hope and Faith. She and her husband, screenwriter Campion Murphy, have now returned home to live in her native Rapides Parish. Please welcome the renowned actress Faith Ford. Faith.
Wow, I'm very humbled by this moment. 30 years ago, in June, I left here. I was 17. All I had was my Pineville High School education, and I went to model for the summer. Well, gee, I didn't end up modeling, but I met this really cool Jewish guy who was an actor, and he said, I'm going to manage you, and you're going to be an actress. And I'd done it through high school, but I didn't think I could do it for a living. Well, I did, but very quickly I realized that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm just going to do it as long as I get a paycheck. And I'm still getting paid. So I'm going to continue to act, but I want to come back home. And I'm not coming back home to retire. I'm coming back home to give back and to continue what I've done everywhere else. I'll keep doing acting other places, but I really want to come back home and do what I love so much with my husband, with, you know, just being in the state. I mean, we went yesterday, and I had the privilege of going back to Jazz Fest. I haven't been there in a long time. I took my husband for the first time. He's from California, and I mean, there's just so much soul here. We're not the boot. We're the soul of this country. We really are. And you know, I have great friends in New York, and I have great friends in LA and Canada as well. I worked a lot in Canada, and they all say the same thing. Oh, I love Louisiana. I wish I could go there. I'm like, y'all come on down. Do what you do here. And it's just so great that they nurture that here. They nurture culture, they nurture the arts, and that's what I want to come today and say, please continue to do that. That's what makes us sing. It's what makes us different. Nurture the tourism, encourage everyone to come here. Just be who you are. Invite them to crawfish boils. I mean, it's just awesome here. And we're going to show them how we can work together and shake hands across the aisle. We're not going to argue with each other. If Mary and James can do it, so can the whole nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faith. Our next guest was identified by Newsweek magazine as one of the top 100 people to watch in the new millennium. He has written and illustrated more than 50 children's books, and his illustrations have adorned numerous New Yorker magazine covers. He teamed with Brandon Oldenburg, who is also with us today, the co-founder of Real FX Creative Studios, to establish Moonbot Studios in Shreveport in 2009. Earlier this year, their animated short story, The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore, won the Academy Award for Animated Short Films. Please welcome Bill Joyce.
When we went to the Academy Awards and we were going down the red carpet and we were being asked lots of goofy questions that we didn't have good answers to, there was one guy, this guy Isaac Mizrahi, who's, you know him. He's this famous fashion guy. And so he's like, so you're from Louisiana? And we go, yeah. And he goes, this must be so unusual and exciting for you. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I mean, this is Los Angeles. And I go, and there's like roofs or something? I mean, what? He seemed to think that we would show up barefoot. And I was like, you know, Isaac, we have flushing toilets, and, you know, we do take P-Rose to work every day. I mean, but I was just like, what? And I'm like, maybe we're not going to win, because if that's the attitude, I don't know. I felt like a swamp rat, out of place. But in the great tradition of Louisiana, and what I learned from my youth here, I did sneak a flask of very good whiskey into the Academy Awards with me. And we were told later that from a number of different reporters, they're like, you know, we could see you guys, out of everybody else in the audience, you guys were the only people really having fun at the Oscars. But then our names were announced and we had won, and we were astonished. And as we walked up and we got our awards, we completely forgot our acceptance speeches and just babbled about, I guess we said something good about Louisiana because everybody said, good job. I didn't know what we'd said until we got home and watched it on television. We just blanked out completely. But as we're staggering off the stage in shock and amazement that we had won the Academy Award, I said to Brandon, I go, Brandon, is this really happening? And he goes, I don't know. And I looked, right off stage was Angelina Jolie. And she was sticking one of those legs out, that really long, amazing leg. And I go, well, it must be true. There's Angelina Jolie and her leg. And Brandon said, then it must be true. And to everybody after that we went up to, and we run up to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, how you doing? This is so cool. And they're like, yes, this is very cool. This is very cool. We're very glad to have you. And we had so much fun that night. I've described it over and over again. It's the most fun I've ever had with my clothes on. But Louisiana, I mean, look, I decided to make our business in Louisiana. I never left Louisiana. I've always done what I do in Louisiana, even with my clothes on. And this state has meant so much to me since I was a kid. I mean, growing up here made me a storyteller. Growing up with things like Mardi Gras and the culture that we have made me think differently. And I wanted to make sure that my children grew up with that. So we raised our children here. The only reason we won an Academy Award is not just because of our efforts, but because of the efforts of this state. There are many people in this room and people who have been in this room and in these chambers over the years that have been so supportive of me personally and the endeavors that my company and I have tried to do to bring filmmaking here to Louisiana. No one had ever made animation in Louisiana until we started trying to. And one of the first calls we got was from the state. What can we do to help? On every level, on a local level, a regional level, and a state level, this state has supported us and helped us and asked us what they can do. So it's easy for me to say this is a great place to do what I do. It is unusual, and in the outside world, they don't quite appreciate it, but they're learning to because we've proven that you can do something that you used to think you could only do in New York and Los Angeles. We did it here, we did it with our local talent, and we won an Academy Award, and I hope it's just the first of many, and I want to thank everybody in this chamber for all that they have done over the years to help us, and thank you for asking me here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. The youngest of 13 children raised near Opelousas became one of Louisiana's first celebrity Cajun chefs to gain national notoriety. He was the executive chef at Commander's Palace in New Orleans and later opened K. Paul's Louisiana Kitchen in the French Quarter. His many best-selling cookbooks celebrate the variety of Louisiana cuisine. Please welcome Paul Prudhomme.
Hey, y'all. You know, I'm not really good at this, but who knows. I was born to a family of 13 children, and there was 3 girls and 10 boys. And my dad said, you got to help your mom. And that's why I became a cook. And I'm going to be a cook for as long as I know how, because it's one of the most incredible thing you can do for a human being is to give you great food in your body that's really good. And that's all I want to do. My family was very strong about what we did, and it was my uncles and my nieces and my nephews were all people that love to cook, and so I got stuck with cooking, and I absolutely love it. It's one of the best things that could have happened to me. And I would like to know that, y'all to know that being a cook is a wonderful job, and a job that you can give to other people an enormous amount of fun and of understanding of food. And so I will not do anything for the rest of my life instead of cooking or using seasonings, because those are the things that really, really turn me on. And it's going to turn me on until I'm dead, and I still got 30 years to go. Thank you, everybody. We hope that you stop by Opelousas. I hope you stop by New Orleans and go to Cape Paul's and get some good food. And if you can't do that, come to my house. I'll make it for you.
Thank you, Chef. Today, April 30th, 2012, marks the issuance date for the Forever Stamp commemorating our bicentennial. Joining us are Sarah Augustine, the Postmaster of Baton Rouge, and Louis M. Atkins, President of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. And now, please welcome for the official stamp dedication, Anthony Villianti, the Chief Human Resources Officer and Executive Vice President of the United States Postal Service, and our own C.C. Lockwood, who is here, whose photograph of Flat Lake in the Atchafalaya Basin is featured on the stamp. Tony?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, and honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today in Baton Rouge to dedicate this stamp. You're probably wondering why someone from the Northeast, a Northerner, you might say Yankee, is here to dedicate this stamp. Well, the reason is simple. Throughout my career, I've traveled a lot, and one of the places that I really like to come into was Louisiana. So when this opportunity approached, I used my rank, I pushed a few people out of the way, and I was able to get this assignment. I'm so very happy to be here. Louisiana has always impressed me. I like the place, I like the people, I love the food, I just love the culture. And one of the people I just want to recognize for a second, Louis Atkins, who is from Louisiana. He's native to Baton Rouge, graduate of LSU. He's got all the right pedigree. He's the president of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, Louis, just wanted to recognize you today. You know, one of the most enjoyable things I do in my job is to get out of Washington. It's to come out to the field. This is the field. This is where employees meet customers, where transactions happen, where we interact with people, and we try to deliver the best possible service, listen to our customers, and get things done. Sitting in Washington, you spend a lot of times in meetings, you steeple your hands and you think great thoughts, but you don't get things done. Out here, in the field, you get a lot of things done. And the reason I want to say that, over the last day, I've had the opportunity to interact with your Louisiana postal officials, the postmaster, the plant manager, and I just want to tell you, you have a great group here providing you that service. You know, they're dedicated, they're focused on the future, and they're here to provide you the best service. So believe me, I'm responsible for about 500,000 people. This is one of the best teams that we have. So I just hope they keep delivering for you. Let me change topics and talk about stamps for a minute. Our stamps are works of art. They celebrate American heroes, history, achievements, and natural wonders. And so ceremonies like this enable the Postal Service to bring national and perhaps even worldwide attention to important subjects in our nation's history. Today, the Postal Service is proud to add to this collection a stamp that celebrates the 200 years to this very day since Louisiana became the 18th state in the Union. Louisiana is a unique source of music, cuisine, and folk traditions. It has given us many individuals who have risen to the top of the fields, like our honored guest here today, jazz legends Louis Armstrong, Jelly Roll Morton, author Anne Rice, singer and stage actress Kitty Carlisle Hart, football player Terry Bradshaw, and our personal favorite, Carl the Mailman Malone. From athletics to astronomy, arts and sciences to academia, TV and film production to business development, law and politics to journalism. Louisiana has enhanced the greatness of America. It's not easy for us to capture the unique geography and exceptional diversity of a state like Louisiana through a single stamp, but you'll see in a minute that Art Director Phil Jordan has done a superb job. The main image features a photograph of Flat Lake taken by C.C. Lockwood, who has lived in Louisiana for 40 years and is renowned for his wildlife and nature photography. The stamp image brings to mind the contributions that wildlife, natural resources make to the economy of this state and to this nation. It also wakes our senses as we experience the rich Cajun heritage of the region that so many of us associate with southern Louisiana. Starting today, this lovely stamp will travel on letters and packages to millions of households and businesses throughout America. And in this small way, the Postal Service has created a lasting tribute to Louisiana, its people, its culture, and its history. We are proud and honored to share this tribute with Americans everywhere through this stamp. So now, on behalf of the United States Postal Service, I'd like to ask Governor Jindal, Lieutenant Governor Dardenne, Lewis Atkins, and C.C. Lockwood to join me in dedicating the stamp.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to again thank the members of the Bicentennial Commission and the hardworking members of the Office of Lieutenant Governor, our Chief of Staff, Kathy Berry, and the liaison with the Bicentennial Commission, Julie Vizino, and all our staff for their work in this year-long effort, and particularly for making this weekend's celebrations possible. At the conclusion of our program momentarily, please join us in Memorial Hall to enjoy some Bicentennial birthday cake. Obviously, we've gathered today to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Louisiana joining the United States of America. Our story began thousands of years ago in the northeasternmost corner of our state at a site ironically named Poverty Point, in the richest land of a magnificent river delta. There, Native Americans established the oldest development on the North American continent. Literally thousands of years came and went before the Spaniard de Soto discovered the Mississippi River and the Frenchman La Salle planted his country's flag and named this place Louisiana, Louis's realm, for King Louis XIV. What followed was a steady stream of European influence, which spread across the state, from the very first settlement in Natchitoches to the great port city of New Orleans, which from its establishment in 1718 became, as Harnett Kane wrote, a poetic city with a prosaic population. Aristocratic French, fiery Spaniards, Islanos, African Americans who did not come voluntarily, all contributed to the unique Creole and primarily Catholic population. They were soon joined by Acadians, French Caribbeans, Germans, Sicilians, Irishmen, and eventually white Anglo-Saxon Protestants who came in droves, following the largest real estate deal in world history, the Louisiana Purchase, which was consummated on April 30th, 1803. 9 years later to the date, the United States Congress somewhat reluctantly embraced its 18th state, the first of 15 states that were part of the Purchase and the first state west of the Mississippi. We were different then and we're different now. It's that difference that makes us special, a unique blend of religious zeal and joie de vivre, a beautiful mix of land and water, a place of natural resources teeming with wildlife, echoing with the joyous sounds of jazz and gospel and country and zydeco, and filled with the aroma of so many delicacies to satisfy the taste buds of its diverse citizenry and those who visit this great state. Today we celebrate all the wonders of Louisiana on this, our 200th anniversary. Before our grand finale, one last special guest is with us today. She won't speak. She'll speak a little bit, but you'll recognize the one line she'll deliver, which was made famous to millions of Americans growing up in the 1960s. Please welcome the prettiest of the Clampett clan, Pride, Zachary, and Baton Rouge's own Donna Douglas, better known as Ellie Mae Clampett.
Thank you. Thank you very much. May God continue to bless our wonderful state of Louisiana and for its wonderful hospitality. And it sure has been nice visiting with all you folks. Now, y'all be sure and come back now, you hear?
And now for our grand finale, please join the soul queen of New Orleans, Irma Thomas, and the great Jay Chevalier to lead us in a rousing version of Louisiana's state song, You Are My Sunshine.
Join Irma and I on the chorus here. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. But when I woke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. Everybody now. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy. If you will only say the same. But if you leave me to love another, you'll regret it all someday. Everybody now. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. One more time. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. Hey! Hey! Go ahead, come on. Hey! All right.
It was a great day. A lot of great Louisiana luminaries in the House chamber talking about what Louisiana has meant to them, and it was a great celebration of Louisiana's 200 years.
Were you expecting this large a turnout?
Yeah, we really were. We knew we'd have a nice crowd, and a lot of great folks that came and were a part of the celebration today.
The Bicentennial Celebration will continue. What do you want people to keep in mind?
Well, this is really just the earliest stages of it. There'll be events all over Louisiana throughout 2012. We'll have a huge military parade in New Orleans in August, and we'll have a couple of surprises to announce later in the year as we celebrate Louisiana music. But there's some great things going on throughout the state.